Today, the party is putting forward a proposal to hold a referendum on lowering the voting age to 16. I'm just wondering, what do you think the likelihood is that you'll be able to achieve that and get that over the line?
Yeah, so this is a very important proposal that my colleague Aidan Farrelly is making, and it is something about recognising the contribution that young people can make and trying to encourage involvement in politics and participation. We hope that we can get it over the line. We think it's a very important proposal to make because it's a huge issue of disengagement from politics, disengagement from the issues, society, and it's been very disappointing because we saw young people, for example, have massive protests around climate change a number of years ago. Young people from 14, 15, 16 led those movements, which had a very significant influence on politics. And I think young people have a huge amount to contribute. So we hope we will be engaging with all parties on this, and we hope that we can progress it.
Do you think the government will go for it?
We hope so. We hope so.
Today on the legislative agenda, the Social Democrats are putting forward a proposal to have a referendum that would see the voting age lowered to 16. I'm wondering your thoughts on that particular proposal.
Well, look, I've always been of an open mind in respect of that. I don't have an issue with reducing it to 16, but we would give that, serious consideration. We'll engage in the debate, but we don't have any timeline for that.
Would you rule out having such a referendum within the next?
No, I wouldn't rule anything out in that regard, and that's something that we give consideration to debate the pros and cons of it. And I think that's what the Dáil is about, bringing forward ideas like that. It's not the first time that idea has been brought forward. I'm all for increased participation and engagement, so we will work through that in the Dáil and take it from there.
I always have an open mind. In relation to these things, and I would have heard from young people back in the National Youth Council of Ireland and the likes in the day in relation to this. But I remain to be convinced at the moment. I'm not sure now is the right time in relation to that. But I'm always happy to debate it.
We already have mini elections in our schools where young people are elected to student councils and they become prefects and they show a whole variety of leadership. I think the more we can get young people involved, then the better it is. We see them do terrific work as well around Corlin and Og, and again, they advocate, they come to the Dáil, they're fantastic. I haven't seen exactly what's in the what's being proposed by the Social Democrats there. I'm happy to look at it, but I do think, irrespective of anything, we have a great asset in our young people. I absolutely would say that.
I think teaching our young people about politics in education activism, I think is very positive. I think it's important that we go back to learning about, I'm showing my age now, civics in school. It's really important that young people have an understanding around how our democracy works here in Ireland, how the Dáil works, the Seanad works. My personal view is that 18 is the appropriate age, but I think we need to be, and it's happening, preparing our young people for the democratic process. And as Minister Foley says, Corlin and Og are really good examples of, I suppose, that democratic process in action across the country, bringing our young people into the Dáil, which we have done, into Seanad Éireann, giving them that experience that they too could be standing up here at podiums like this, they could be working in the background, working on different campaigns. So being active and understanding our democracy and how it works is absolutely critical, particularly in a very uncertain geopolitical landscape we're currently in. I think the importance and the fragility of democracy, it cannot be underestimated. And I think anything that we can do in relation to that, and I know it's been done in schools right across the country.
Well, look, that's something that's number one in our manifesto, but it's something I wholeheartedly support, because if you're 16 years of age, you can, as far as I'm aware, legally get married. You know, if you're working, you're paying tax. So why shouldn't you be able to vote? But I think in line with that, we need to do a hell of a lot more work in terms of getting young people engaged in the political process. I mean, not enough young people vote. And when you look at all the problems we have, particularly housing, it disproportionately affects younger people. And younger people need to be encouraged to get out there, to use their agency to vote in order to make sure that their problems and their concerns, you know, go higher up on the political agenda.